So Liverpool have impressively beaten Cardiff, but do you know what that fixture did? Watching those two teams play, it suddenly made me think. I remember when they played each other in the final and the game went to penalties, Liverpool won. That was in 2012. Can you believe it? That was the last time Liverpool won any domestic cup competition. I was so surprised by that. And I would actually go as far as saying that it's a bit of a blemish on their honours list. They have been completely out of any cup competition for such a long time. They have found the cup competition so elusive since then. And I think that Jurgen Klopp will desperately want to rectify that this season. They're already in the League Cup final against Chelsea. They have been very impressive in the FA Cup. And when you think about the colossal club that Liverpool are, when you think about their status in this country, and in fact, in the world's footballing landscape, the fact that Liverpool haven't won a domestic cup since 2012 isn't acceptable. But Klopp looks like he is trying to put that right. And you could tell that he was really up for putting it right because they were already winning when they turned to Diaz and Harvey Elliott. When you are bringing on players of that quality against lower league opposition, when you're already winning at home, it's curtains. And it is a statement from Jurgen Klopp that he's taken this competition incredibly seriously. Whether that has any impact on the way that he feels about the Premier League, I don't know. We know that Jurgen Klopp is a winner, and I would be surprised if he were to say that the Premier League is now out of reach. But equally, it's looking like it could be out of reach. Liverpool fans, I know, generally don't think it is. I, though, believe that Man City have already won the league. So maybe that is having an impact on Jurgen Klopp's keenness for the domestic cups. But they are really up for it. But, of course, Diaz and Elliott coming on had an impact on the result today. But that's not really the point. The point is, what impact are they going to have on the rest of the season? Because this is almost perfect. To bring these kind of players back into a team that already has a winning culture is a real statement. And when you think about who they don't have currently, they've got Mane to bring back. They've got Mohamed Salah to bring back. They've got Fabinho, who didn't play today. You've got Alisson to add back to the team. You then have the starters like Diaz, who didn't start, Harvey Elliott, who didn't start but will. This is a really strong team, and I would say that this means that Liverpool are going to be incredibly difficult to beat for the rest of the season. This team is starting to shape up for me in a way that previous Klopp teams have done. That good. I honestly believe that this is one of Klopp's best ever teams. It's just Man City have raised the bar so highly. But this Liverpool team would have won the league in most other seasons. It's just Guardiola's about, man. What can you do? It's so difficult. But this is a very, very exciting rest of the season. They have a big 5 months now, this Liverpool team. It's full of possibilities. And I think that Jurgen Klopp will be really excited by what this team can do. When you think about the players I just mentioned that have come back into this team, when you think about where they sit in all of the cup competitions, when you think about where they sit in the league, arguably, and then you think about the form that some of his best players are in. Trent Alexander-Arnold has recorded 15 assists in all competitions this season. 15 assists. I mean, he's playing as well as he ever has done. He's playing as well as he ever has done. And that should strike fear into everybody. There was a beautiful moment at Anfield today. There really was. And it was when Elliott, that left foot volley, after that beautiful touch, to control the Robertson cross. Gorgeous. But it was an emotional moment. It felt weirdly poignant because obviously that was his first reappearance after what, 6 months out, 5 months out? And that dislocation of his ankle looked terrible when it happened. It was one of those weird fouls. Do you remember? It was against Leeds United. It was one of those weird moments when it was a horrific injury, but I'm not even sure it was a foul. I mean, it was just one of those moments. It was so unfortunate. But the camera panned. If you weren't watching the game, the camera panned to his father, who I believe is called Scott, and he was in tears. He just watched his boy score a goal off the back of that injury at Anfield. What a moment. And when he scored, it's his first goal for the club. That reaction, do you know what it did? It gave us an insight. You know, we're football fans. We don't get it, most of us watching, unless any professionals happen to be watching. But we're football fans. We don't know the toll that these moments take on the families. But watching Elliott's father there crying in the stand, it was such a poignant moment and a sort of reality check. You know, we often see footballers as being almost superhuman, but there is a real human side to them. And watching his father cry there, It was, yeah, it was special. I mean, the tie was basically out of Cardiff's hands before he came on, I think. I mean, Cardiff were, they were stubborn and they were dogged in the first half, but ultimately they weren't good enough. And when Klopp makes a double substitution like that with half an hour to go, you're bringing on a player like Diaz. I mean, what can you do? It's a £40 million player from Porto who comes on and immediately showcases his brilliance. All the attributes that you need. It's a really clever addition into this squad from Jurgen Klopp. It's exactly what they need. Just that little bit of ingenuity, little bit of genius, another option. The other thing that he will do, not only will he bring so much, but his arrival will mean that Sadio Mane in particular will have to elevate his performances. So if you think about quite what a signing this is, I think it's really, really impressive. And he was up for it, man. Talk about the magic of the cup. Diaz had it. He was keen. He was hungry. He wanted to win it. He's pressing Cardiff's wingback, that Perry Young. He's pressing him constantly and forced a mistake. I think other players would have allowed him to clear it. But Diaz was pushing him, pressing him, and ultimately nicked it, delivered the perfect cross. I mean, it evaded Jota, who it might have been aimed at, but ultimately Minamino got on the end of it. So it was a real moment, and as soon as it was 2-0, you could see that the game was over. And Liverpool were superior. Liverpool were just far too good. But what this means for Liverpool and the rest of their season, I think it's quite worrying for everyone else. Maybe not Man City, but for everybody else, anyone that they face in cup competitions, this team are special. They really are. They're probably not going to get the plaudits because of Man City's levels. But this team are really special. And you think, Chelsea to come in a League Cup final. We've got a good record against Liverpool in finals. I can remember, obviously, beating them in Cardiff in 2005, 2012 final in the FA Cup. But obviously, I'd say that Liverpool are favourites for that game. They've got a really favourable draw in the last 16 here. They're playing Norwich. We know what Liverpool do to Norwich, don't we? There'll be songs about Luis Suarez echoing around that day, that's for sure. But today, the cup magic was emphasised by the cameo from Elliott. And his attitude has just been exemplary during what must be like a painstaking rehabilitation. So I'm really pleased for him. And yeah, it's special. But this has been a magical weekend. I love the cup. If you love the cup, I would ask you, give this video a like. It really does help me out. And I love to see these cup videos get loads of likes, because I just really do feel like the cup gets a lot of disrespect that I cannot tolerate. Thank you for watching this video. Congratulations to Liverpool on progressing. Unlucky Cardiff. Gonna go and watch Forest now. Forest Leicester, big one, big Midlands derby. So let's see how that gets on. Until then, though, click subscribe if you've enjoyed the video. Remember, for the rest of your days, go easy, step lightly, and stay free.